Nike did not make Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan made Nike. Let's talk about it. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Skinny Hardaway, and this is Retro Heat Check. Checking in one more time for the real hoop heads out there. And as always, thank you all for your likes, your shares, your subscriptions, your comments, and as always, those questions. You already know what tomorrow is. Tomorrow's Q&A with Skinny. Have those questions in. Hey, I've been challenging. I didn't have to challenge the ladies. Ladies already came. They already came with it. Challenge the fellas. The fellas stepped up. Now the challenge for everyone is to keep it going. Keep this momentum going. I love the Q&A sessions that we have each and every Wednesday. I love you guys. I love you guys' questions. They go from the crazy lore of that Shekel Storm NBA has brought to more thought-provoking questions such as participation trophies and stuff like that. So definitely kudos to you guys. It definitely lets me know that I have an intelligent crowd. That everybody in the Hoop Head Haven, it seems, to have a brain on their a brain inside their heads and a good head on their shoulders. So kudos to you guys. Keep the momentum going. That's all I ask, man. That's all I ask. Yeah, with that being said, man, we might as well just get on into it. You already know what time it is. It's time for me to shout out the squad. You already know what it is. These are my guys. These are the guys that I stand with, I support. Like I always say, we are up against a huge conglomerate that is hell bent on creating false narratives and telling blatant lies about the past NBA eras and stuff. Excuse me for 1 second. All right. Sorry, I forgot to take off my dog's collar because his little tags be jingle jangling when he's running around. But yeah, as I was saying, kudos to you guys, smart crowd. Keep it coming, keep it coming. And now we're going into the squad, like I was saying as I was saying just a few minutes ago. I'm sorry. These are guys I stand with. We're up against a huge conglomerate from media to sports leagues to networks to former players, current players, all kinds of haters. A whole lot of fanboys. Got LeBron James himself, his marketing agency. It's crazy. It's crazy out here, but guess what? We whoop them every time because we are armed with the truth. And when you're armed with that, you can't be beat. You already know what it is. Big shout outs to Sports and Fitness Rants, Uncommon Sense, Scap Attack, Angry Old Hoops, Uncut Hoops. Michael Jordan fans are the best. NNB Sports TV, my twin, Phenomenal Fitness, Kobe Bryant Film Room, Prince Sports, Man Down Sports, Geechee Life Sports Talk. My man, Shekel Storm NBA, The Real Mind Crime, definitely. Dreamers Pro TV, Ticket TV, The Allen Ricks TV, and NBA Facts Self Research, along with, can't forget, Jordan versus LeBron. These channels right here, I rock with them. I hope that you guys do as well. If you don't, check them out. Tell them Skinny sent you. You already know, man. If I rep them and I support them, hey, you already know you should as well. So big shout outs. We're gonna have another closed door meeting. We don't have any new members to welcome in, so the doors are closed tonight. We have a closed door meeting, and we're just gonna get right on into it. Shout outs to my big bro, Uncommon Sense. I was listening to his video about the NBA and marketing, and it was like a WNBA video where he was talking about marketing and stuff like that. And basically the Caitlin Clark USA basketball debacle, whatever. I don't care about that. But he did say something though in that video that definitely, it was funny because this is exactly what I was already thinking about making a video, and I was having a discussion or a debate with a fanboy. I'm just going to just call it what it is, a little fanboy. And he was just saying that, he was pretty much saying what Uncommon Sense was talking about, how haters like to say that Michael Jordan is some kind of figment of Nike's imagination. And it's totally the opposite. Totally the opposite. It's not Jordan is not a Nike invention. Jordan basically created the space for Nike to blow up. Nike blew up because of Michael Jordan. It wasn't that Nike was already like this big dog sneaker company, and Jordan would just happen to just hop along and hop along and he just basically just rode the wave all the way into millions and into eventually billions of dollars. But no, that's not how it is. Back in the day, Nike was what is like what Under Armour is today, in my opinion. Under Armour, a small, when it comes to Under Armour basketball, like as far as like the lifestyle shoes and like running shoes and all that stuff, like a lot of people do buy Under Armour, but when it comes to like Under Armour basketball, I think that they are towards the bottom of the totem pole. I know they have Steph and I know they have like De'Aaron Fox and a couple other guys, but I mean, let's just keep it real. Outside of Steph Curry, there's no needles being moved outside of basically Steph at Under Armour. The needles aren't moving. Shoes ain't selling like that. I mean, it's cool. They have like a little niche, but still, they're so far behind Nike and Adidas and Reebok. They have decades that they have to make up, especially going up against Nike. I mean, they have decades on top of decades on top of decades in which they're going to have to get their sales up to even compete with Nike for real. I mean, they're a competitor in name only, because I just don't see them nowhere close. And that's what Nike was back in the day. Nike was that to Adidas and Converse. Converse and Adidas, they were the big dogs. Converse had Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Bernard King, Isaiah Thomas, Kevin McHale. They had some killers. They had some killers on that Converse roster. And then you had Adidas. They had signed Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing, yes, straight out of Georgetown. He was actually an Adidas guy before he ended up having his own sneaker company. He was actually an Adidas guy. You have other players. Man, who was the Adidas players back in the day? Because Converse pretty much had everybody. Converse pretty much. I mean, they had Dr. J as well. They had Dr. J. I mean, there's not too many. Man, it's like Adidas. It's like, who did they really have? Adidas was. I think that Adidas was more prevalent in like the 70s. You know what I'm saying? The ABA days. You know what I'm saying? And Adidas was definitely a college sneaker, along with Converse. They pretty much ran it all, but Converse was the big dog. and Adidas was right behind it. So it would be like today, it would be Nike and Adidas being number two. So Adidas was number two. Ironically, Adidas is number two. Um, and the simple fact of the matter, of back in those days, because you had those two huge sneaker companies. A company like Nike was basically just out there, just lost in the sauce, just trying to just figure out their way. Nike was actually a more of a track and field type of sneaker, because the basis of Nike came from the Oregon track coach, Coach Bowerman. Actually, the street that leads you into the Nike facility is One Bowerman Way. He is the legendary Hall of Fame coach of the University of Oregon, their track team, highlighted by I forget his first name, but his last name is Prefontaine. Actually, had a movie about him. Basically, they was making Nike running shoes using a waffle iron, and that's why you have the bottom of the of certain like your Air Max ones kind of has like this waffle kind of grill bottom, because that's where the essence came from. Um, they were a track and field shoe for the most part, and they started to make their way into to basketball. Basically, they made their first hit with the Air Force One. The Air Force One was definitely the hit. It was definitely the hit. They had a team. They basically called their squad Team Air Force One. Had guys like Moses Malone. Had guys like George Iceman Gervin. You had guys like Dr. Duncanstein. You had a lot of, I mean, wasn't it Dr. Duncanstein, Daryl Griffin, and a plethora of other guys. Sidney Moncrief. You had Sidney Moncrief, guys like that. That was the first round of basically of Nike athletes as far as basketball is concerned. And I would have to say that the headliner at that time, I would have to say the headliner would probably be George Iceman Gervin. He was probably the bigger name of all those guys at the time. I would have to say, followed by Moses Malone. But Iceman, he had the iconic Nike poster where he's sitting on the ice throne with the two ice balls, and he's rocking his the all silver and black Nike jumpsuit with the Air Force Ones, the white and black Air Force Ones. I mean, such a majestic picture. One of the greatest. I would have to say one of the greatest sneaker advertisements ever. It was literally one of the coldest. Um, and I mean, Nike was slowly starting to make their way. They wanted to they were ahead of the curve as far as they knew that they had to involve the streets, but they just did not really know how to really cultivate the streets. So they tried to basically gain favor with the color of the month campaign that they used to have. Colors of the month was basically each and every month Nike would drop another color for Air Force Ones. That's why Air Force Ones vary so much in colors, even back then, because of that program, basically, of that advertisement campaign. They wanted to grow. They wanted to grow their brand, so they wanted to just give out as many colorways, as many as many advertisements that were aimed towards like street ball, such as that. There's a famous Nike poster where it has like some kids out on the West Coast. I want to say they're from like Los Angeles, you know what I'm saying, from the hood, like Compton and all those guys, and they're like they're at the park, and they're all rocking their Air Force Ones. And I mean, Nike was really trying to get into the streets, but they just really did not know how. And their shoe was pretty much it had traction in the streets, and it became the Air Force One basically became a cult classic, an underground cult classic, especially in the hood. Back in the days, a lot of kids in the hood, they loved the variety of colors. They liked the simple fact that Nike was different from Converse and Adidas and Reebok and you know, every other shoe brand that was around at that time. Nike kind of represented, kind of had like an attitude, kind of had like a, well, basically Nike was always built on the themes of revolution and rebellion. I think that the Air Force One represented the first half of it, the revolution. It was basically Nike's declaration to say, hey, we are going to start making our footprint into basketball. And led by Team Air Force One, they had a pretty solid start, but still, Converse, Converse was the big dog, and Adidas was right behind them. Um, it was hard. It was hard. It was hard to compete with these guys, but one day in 1984, they decided to throw all the chips in the middle of the table and gamble on a certain rookie coming into the league from North Carolina, one Michael Jordan. And needless to say, he was not feeling the swoosh day one. He wore Converse at UNC, so he was cool with Converse, but Converse didn't need him. They said they had enough guards. But he was actually an Adidas guy. He wanted to sign with Adidas badly. He wanted to sign with Adidas in the worst way. But Adidas said he's not a center. Um, and, and and thank you, Adidas, for your blunder. Uh, because we probably wouldn't be rocking swooshes. We would probably be probably wouldn't be rocking swooshes. We'd probably be rocking stripes right now. If it weren't for what happened with Jordan going with Nike. Long story short, the Air Jordan 1 comes out. The Air Jordan 1 comes out. And Jordan was kind of iffy about it. He definitely did not like the colors. He said that the colors were the devil colors, especially the black and especially the bread ones. He said that they were the devil colors, but he did like the fact that he had his own brand. And that right there, once they banned the breads, once they banned the breads in October of 1984, that right there was the launch pad needed for Nike. That was the beginning. It was already cool enough to see Michael Jordan flying through the air. His game was pleasing. I mean, he was exciting. He was fresh. He was new. He was doing things that was never seen before, and he's rocking some shoes that never been seen before. He's rocking a brand that really nobody was really messing with, and he single-handedly by himself raised the cachet of Nike with just two things: basically showing up and playing every night and doing all the crazy stuff that he was doing out on the floor, and two, getting that sneaker band and having Nike say, you know what, you're going to keep rocking these sneakers and we'll pay the tab. And you know, you got Jordan at the dunk contest. You got Jordan just killing it. I mean, he's killing his rookie year, and the streets are going crazy about these sneakers because Jordan is all of a sudden a cult hero. And basically Nike was able to capitalize upon this, and Jordans were just flying off the shelves. Jordans were flying off the shelves, but Jordan was not really feeling the sneaker, and he definitely wasn't feeling the second one. So by the time his contract was up, because he only signed a 2-year deal, he was ready to go. He was ready. He was pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered to Adidas. Um, he was about to, you know, Adidas was about to circle the block. They realized they made a mistake, and they were trying to get Mike back by any means necessary. But Nike came through with the second savior of Nike, because Nike was saved twice. Nike was saved the first time by Michael Jordan, but when Michael Jordan was about to leave, Nike was saved a second time, and that was by one, Tinker Hatfield, the greatest sneaker designer of all time. Basically, he came into the door, and this was the shoe. This was the shoe that saved Nike, the Air Jordan 3. This is the shoe that saved Nike, literally. And this is the shoe that really launched Michael Jordan into the stratosphere of sneakers, and basically set Nike up for the dominant run that they still enjoy to this day, especially with the Air Jordans. Jordan basically was the sneaker. You don't buy the sneaker. This sneaker looks cool by itself. It looks great. It looks great all by itself. It looks awesome. But this right here, that's what set it over the top. And it wasn't the shoe, it was the man that made the shoe. The shoe didn't make the man. The man made the shoe. If Jordan does not hit the shot in these, I mean, it doesn't hit the shot. I'm sorry. If Jordan does not hit the shot in the fours, or if he doesn't jump from the free throw line in the white cements, who knows where we'd be at today? We'd probably be all rocking Adidas, like I said. Jordan is the man who made the shoe. It was him flying through the air. It was the idea that the sneaker made you fly, just like he did. Just like he did. Because I know as a kid, when I put on a pair of Jordans, and man, I felt like Superman. You could not tell me nothing. It was just a feeling. It was the feeling, because Michael Jordan already gave you that feeling when you watched the games. And just to have a little piece of Michael Jordan, that's all that we wanted as kids. We wanted to be like Mike. And we felt like the most direct way to being like Mike was rocking his sneakers. You know what I'm saying? It was the game. It wasn't the sneakers that it was the game. The sneakers was just a part of the aesthetic. The sneaker was just the icing on the cake, the cherry on top, the sprinkles and all that good stuff. But it was the game. It was the game. That was the substance. And the sneakers was just a byproduct of the sneaker, because it represented, he was also basically a walking advertisement for success. And the sneaker represented success. It represented grind. You can look at a pair of Jordans and you can go back in time and think of, where were you at? Where was he at in his game? What memories, what moments is he making in these sneakers? What is he, what is it about these shoes that are iconic? Like this shoe right here. This shoe was the talk of the town at All-Star Weekend. He broke these out during All-Star Weekend. Like even the commentators and the cameras were always following his feet, because anything and everything that Michael Jordan touched turned into gold, and these were the gold mine. These were the gold mine, and it birthed a whole generation of sneakerheads. I would have to say I would be considered maybe second generation sneakerhead, because I wasn't there for the initial explosion in the 80s, but I was there for the bigger explosion in the 90s. And the biggest explosion in the 90s was the Air Jordan. The Air Jordan was at the epicenter of the growth of sneakers overall. Like, this shoe basically enhanced the sneaker game. The sneakers were just known as basically just it was just basically equipment. It wasn't looked as a fashion statement. It wasn't looked at anything else but equipment. When you put on a pair of basketball sneakers, it was no different than a headband, some shorts, sports goggles, whatever. It was pretty much on par with that. But what Jordan did is that he made the sneaker not only aesthetically pleasing on the court, he also made it a fashion statement. He made it he made it a part of pop culture. And I mean, that is one of the biggest impacts outside of his game, that you could say, is the simple fact that his shoes are synonymous in pop culture now. They are synonymous with sneakerhead culture. They are the forefront in the creation, the basically the big bang of sneaker collection is the Air Jordan, and it's still to this day still is the number one sneaker in the world. I think it will always be the number one sneaker in the world, until it happens, until that day happens. I just don't see it. The difference between Chuck Taylor and Michael Jordan's and Air Jordans is because Chuck Taylor's, it's the same sneakers, same design, just different colors, maybe different textures, but that's about it. The what makes the Air Jordan so great is because every year you got something different. The ingenuity of Tinker Hatfield, and the simple fact that he was bold and brave enough to actually include Michael Jordan in the design, and truly letting Michael Jordan be a part of the process. Jordan could look at a sneaker and give it the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Like I'm feeling it. I ain't feeling this. Tweak this. Get rid of that. You know, add this. Add more of this. Take a little bit more out of this. And that synergy was definitely what made the shoe special. Not just the designs and stuff, is what Michael Jordan did in them. Why do you think the Air Jordan 12 breads are now called the flu games? Why do you think that the Air Jordan 14s, the black Air Jordan 14s, are called the last shots? Why do you think that the bread 4s are called the shots? Why do you think that the the white elephant print are considered the free throw lines, the free throw line Air Jordan 3s? Things like that, Space Jam 11s. There's so many different nicknames for sneakers because each shoe represents a different memory. Jordan Jordan provided the memories, and the shoes were almost like timestamps. That's exactly what the shoe was. The shoe was a timestamp. It was pretty much like, what did Jordan do? You can almost look at a shoe and you can picture a play or a moment, that Jordan was in, and that's the beauty of his sneaker. That's the beauty of his brand, is the simple fact that you can literally look at a shoe, and you are immediately met with so many memories, so many moments, so many highlights. um I mean, in on the court and off the court in a lot of ways. um and that's why the Air Jordan sneaker is definitely the king of kings when it comes to sneakers. And it's not because it was an invention of Nike. The Air Jordan blew up because of Air Jordan doing his thing every night, night in, night out, giving buckets, playing both sides of the ball, leaving it all out there on the floor, win, lose, or draw, showing true sportsmanship, showing what it's like to grind, showing what it's like to get beat up and get back up and become a champion, grinding your way, building yourself up, growing yourself, progressing into becoming the greatest player of all time. That is the story that each Air Jordan is a part of. Each Air Jordan is kind of like a chapter in his story, leading as he's going, basically leading the way as he's going towards immortality, basically. Because I mean, the guy is the greatest of all time, and he will be immortal long after he's gone. He will always be immortal. I think that he's a guy who I think can live on forever because so many things that he's done to the game, but he will definitely live on because of this sneaker. This sneaker will live on forever. Just the different designs, the different styles, the different colorways, the different stories that they tell. I mean, that's what makes the Air Jordan the Air Jordan. It's not Nike making Air Jordan. Air Jordan made Nike. Nike is now sitting on top of the world mainly due to Michael Jordan and what he's done, and these shoes blowing up the way that they blew up. Basically put Nike at the head of the table. And throughout the 90s, along with Tinker Hatfield, you had guys like Eric Avar. You had guys like Walter Smith II. I mean, you had so many different guys. You had so many different dudes that you know, you had Steve McDonald. You had so many different guys, man, that came behind Tinker, that continued. And you got to get not only Air Jordans, what led to Air Jordans, you got like Air Pennies. Yeah, rocking my Air Pennies today as I'm talking about Jordans. But I mean, if it wasn't for Michael Jordan just giving a chance to Nike, Lord knows what we'd be rocking. So if anybody ever tells you that Michael Jordan is an invention of Nike, you tell them, stop the cap, stop capping. Jordan made Nike, not the other way around. And that's why Nike basically gave half of the company to Jordan, because he deserves half of the company. He deserves half of the company. He saved it. And that's why Tinker Hatfield has a huge stake in a huge place and a huge stake in the company as well. He's the greatest designer of all time, the greatest sneaker designer of all time. He's the greatest. And those two together created masterpieces. Let me be correct. Masterpieces that will last the test of time. They still stand the test of time. Jordan hasn't played ball in over 20 years. We still rocking his kicks. I've been rocking his kicks since I was in what, late elementary school, going into middle school. I'm 42 years old. So that goes to show you the impact that he's had over the years. And I'm not the only one. But yeah, I just want to let you guys know that. I wanted to clear that up in today's video. So big shout outs to Uncommon Sense. So funny that we was kind of on the same wavelength. That's weird. But hey, that's why we squad, because we are definitely in tune and in step. And with that being said, I'm going to leave it at that. It's your boy, Skinny Hardaway, and you already know what it is. It's another day. It's Tuesday. Most of y'all done kick butt at work. School is out. So my nephew Cam is running around doing his thing. Cam, you stay out of trouble, like I keep telling you. Stay out of trouble. But nah, I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. I know you got it. You're good. You're good. You're a good young man. But like I said, man, it's Tuesday. You know, already know what it is. Tomorrow's hump day. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. Enjoy your evenings. Love on them babies. Love on your loved ones. Tomorrow's definitely not promised. Be responsible. Be respectful. Remember, clear head, good intentions in your heart, and go far. You out of here if you got that. Be respectful. Please don't be out here doing anything dumb. Get home safe in one piece, and we'll reconvene tomorrow, and we'll do this all over again. Hey, it's your boy Skinny Hardaway. This is another episode of Retro Heat Check in the books. And I'll have to leave you with these words. Peace. And wear your sneakers.